In this video, I'll show you the latest updates to Elementor and Elementor Pro. Hey guys, what's up? This is Michaela from Simplifying Websites. And before I show you, I'd like to ask you to like the video, which helps the channel a lot. And for you to subscribe if you're not already, okay? So let's go. I'm here on the Elementor website in the blog section of their website, where they always give us the latest news. And there's already a post here showing what's new in Elementor 3.18. So you can always be here checking out what's new on the Elementor website, or here they show it to you. There's also this part here, which is the Elementor changelog, which in this case only shows Elementor Pro updates. And here it shows you a lot of details because there are a lot of things, a lot of corrections. It's always in English, but you can right click on it, translate it into Portuguese, and it'll show you topic by topic. When there's an adjustment, it's something new. When there's a correction, it's a correction of something that was already in Elementor, okay? There are lots of adjustments here, lots of corrections. Oh, the latest updates, which was 17.1, brought many adjustments and many corrections. I've separated them here to show you the ones that will have the greatest impact on our lives. But I invite you to come here and take a look to see everything that's happened, okay? So, let's go. Take a look. The first new feature, and one of the ones I found most interesting, is that you can now deactivate the widgets in the Elementor panel. So anyone who uses add-on plugins has already seen this. Sometimes add-on plugins leave it up to us to deactivate them so that only what we're using appears in the Elementor library tab. And now Elementor has added this too. It's here in the Elementor tab, Element Manager. Then you click here. It opens this tab and you can deactivate the items you're not using because we usually use the same widgets, which are buttons, titles, posts, images, products, filters, something like that. And Elementor has many widgets here that we hardly use and that make it difficult for us to weigh up this editor tab. And if we disable them, it makes it lighter and makes it easier for us to create. And then you can deactivate them one by one. He's also made it available here so that we can click on show. It shows which widgets are being used and even how many times they are being used on the website. So the button has been used 5 times. Title, image, and these others, I haven't used any. Look at all the things that are active that I haven't used. So you can click here and deactivate them one by one. Then you can come up here and click on save, or Elementor has also left this option up here. I'll even right click here and click on translate to Portuguese for you to see, which is to deactivate unused elements. So here you see that there are several that you haven't used. And instead of clicking here several times to deactivate them, you can click here and it will deactivate all the widgets you're not using in Elementor. And if you do that, it will deactivate all the widgets at once. And then, if you've deactivated them and want to activate them all again, there's the Enable All button too. And you can click up here to save the settings. Another thing, here it shows you all the widgets for all the plugins. Because, for example, we have some add-on plugins that we put in that assign widgets here in the Elementor editor. So if we scroll down, you'll see that here in the individual section, for example, I'll have several widgets here from Pods, which is a plugin I used here. From this filter plugin, which is search Ajax, so it will also show us widgets from other plugins. But if you want, you can filter here just the Elementor widgets, just the WordPress widgets, just the Elementor Pro widgets, okay? So you can come here and do this filtering, and there's also the little magnifying glass that you can use to search, okay? Here you can also click and scan all the widgets that are being used, which is the same thing I did when I clicked on that show button here. So it's the same thing. Okay, that's the first new feature. The second is the multiple selection of the tax filter. So here's this website, the last website I taught you how to create here on the channel, which is a website for selling products as an affiliate. It's a really cool website. I recommend you go and watch it. I'll leave it on the card. I taught you how to create it with Elementor itself with a widget called tax filter, a taxonomy filter. This little filter here. We click on it and it selects the cards that we also created with Elementor. So now it allows us to select several at once, because by default, it only lets you select one, the foundation, the lipstick, the blush, from each widget. If we select a combination, then it lets us select both. So, for example, blush and Dior, then it lets you combine them. But it won't let us in the same widget. So what can we do? We can go here in the settings, and there's a multiple selection option. Then we click on update, and now he's letting us choose two. Oh, I want to see lipsticks and blushes. So you get both assets at once. That's really nice because it makes it more dynamic for us, more options. So every day, Elementor is improving these options. That's why I think it's worth hiring Elementor Pro, especially if you work with this. If you're going to create more complex websites, because every day they release new features that make our lives easier, that allow us to create websites with just Elementor without the need for additional plugins. Every day they improve the features. Nice? That's one option. The other is to upload files to the form. This one looks pretty good too. So here's the form widget. That you can come here, add a file upload field. This is it, send file. And then by default, which is what happened before, when you sent a file, only the link would arrive here in the email. So this link arrived here, which you click on, and you'd go to the file on the website. So it sends us the link to the file here. Now with this option, you can activate it so that you can receive it in your email, the file already that the person sends. There are even 3 options here. I'm going to right-click, click on Translate into Portuguese. You can configure it to leave the link, which is the default. You can leave the attachment, which is the file itself, or you can leave both. That way, it will send both the file as well as the link. So it will come to you like this, like here, for example. If you leave it active there, for the file to arrive, it will arrive in your email. There are fields here, which have been filled in, and the file below. In this case, I've sent a PDF, and it sends it to me. I can download it right here. That's cool, because it's already stored in the email, and it's easier for your client to be able to download it. And you can configure it here. So here you can write the label, which is the title that will appear up here. You can put, for example, send your document, then it appears here. I wrote it all wrong, but it appears here. You can set it as mandatory. Here you select the weight of the file. So up to the amount of weight you want to receive. It lets me send even very large files, as it will be stored there in the email. It lets you send even large files. So you select here. Up to the size of file you want to receive in your email. And here, it asks you to delimit the types of files you want to receive. And then you can add various types of files. You just have to separate them with commas. So you can put JPG, which is a type of image extension. Then put a comma, give it a space, PNG, which is also a type of image, WebP, which is also an image type, PDF, which is a type of file. Just separate them with commas. And if you want the person to be able to select several files, just click here. Activate multiple files. And here you can set the maximum number of files. If you want to limit it, if you don't limit it, the person can send as many as they want, okay? So this will make it much easier for you. For you to put in your briefing form, for example, for those who don't know, I've already taught you here on the channel. There's a video here where I teach you how to create a briefing. A briefing is a document that we ask the client to send us. Data for us to use on their website, company name, the product they're going to use, text they want you to use on their website, company description, slogan, privacy policy. You ask them for information that you're going to use on your website. Then you can leave a field so that he can send the images right here on the form, because I leave them here. For example, you have existing standards such as logos and colors that you want to incorporate. I ask the person here to send a link to the drive, for example. And then if you don't want to do it like that, for the person to put the link to the drive, you can just leave this tab here for them to send the files. Then he can select all the files, put them here. and then it arrives in your email. So there's that option too. Although I think it's more viable, you let him put them on the drive, there's more storage, it won't fill up your email. But if you want to do it that way, there's that option too. Fine. Ajax pagination in the loop. The loop. For those who don't know, there are these little cards here that we can create custom to show whatever we want. And this is what the layout looks like. We put in some products. We put in page 2 to show the rest of the products. And now there's continuous pagination, which is here, pagination. And now there's this infinite scroll. There's no pagination here. As you scroll, more products load. So there's this option now, and you can even customize it here, an icon. So if you want, you can come here, place an icon to load. Then you can, for example, I'll set it to appear 8 products. Then it appears here first, 8 products. Then it loads. 8 products appear. Then it loads. The icon appears as it loads. Then the rest loads until everything appears. Okay? You can customize it here in the page layout. I'm going back to numbers right here. And go back to 15 products. Edit the empty state of the loop widget. Any loop widget, okay? It can be a carousel. It can be grid, post. This empty state, it's here in more options, which is this option here. For you to write when there are no more items to be loaded, then you can post a message here saying there are no products. Because sometimes the person searches here in the filter and there aren't any. And then you can put it here. The message, there is no product, no item to be loaded. Individual pagination option, individual pagination, it looks like this. Want to see, I'm going to duplicate this loop widget here. And individual pagination, it's here, both for loop, for posts, for products. It comes with all the widgets like this for posts. Oh, I have 2 widgets. This one ends here, this one ends here, and there's pagination. If I click here on page 2, it will change both the top one and the bottom one. So the individual pagination, it's so that when you're using various widgets of the same thing on a single page, you can come here and activate it. Oh, you come here in pagination, activate individual pagination. That's it, what you carry in that, you'll only load it. I came to page 2 with just this one. The top one stayed the same as it was. So that's what this configuration is for. And finally, what's new with Elementor's AI? For those who don't know, it's been a while. Elementor released an AI here in its editor in all text fields. So every place that allows us to write something, for example, in the title, here it is, write with AI, which is similar. The AI of the GPT chat, you can ask it whatever you want here. Even to create CSS and HTML code for anything. So anywhere, even here. In CSS, you can come here, ask him to create the CSS for you. So you already had this option here with Elementor. It lets you make a few free commands. And if you go beyond that, it asks you to subscribe to a prompt franchise, which is what we call it. Every time we ask it to do something, it's a prompt. And then as you create, when you finish, a button appears for you to contract this Elementor prompt franchise. In fact, we're Elementor affiliates. I'll leave our link here in the description. If you're thinking of buying the pro version, you buy with our link. You'll help the channel to bring you more cool content. So I already had all these functions. He had also already brought us the AI of the image. So here, you could come here and ask him, generate an image for you. And there were already a few options to define here. It will generate an image here from scratch. You type it in, it will generate it for you, and then now. It's also released for containers. For the sections, you can click here and ask for it to create sections for you. You just have to create them in English. It says here that if you click with the bar, some prompts will appear by default, but mine isn't. You come here. If you can't speak English, search here. For example, in the translator, I'll ask him, create a section with 4 icon boxes. For example, then you can write more, write a section with 4 icon boxes with the color such. Then you can add the color code or the image link if you want. Let it create the background image with the image on one side and the text on the other. You can describe it to it however you like. Then you click here, click on generate, and it will generate some options for you. It leaves the previews here. And then you can click to see what it's like on the screen. but it doesn't apply it to the site yet. It only applies it when you click here on Use Layout. You click here on Use Layout. You can also click on Regenerate here, and it will generate other options. And it always leaves a little carousel for you to see the previous options. It will generate 3 more options here, and when I've chosen one, I click on the one I want and click on Use Layout. Because then it will create it here with the containers and everything. It's just very promising. It's getting better every day. But for now, it's creating some pretty ugly things. So take a look at this. It's all still weird. With the container in here that it didn't need because it was already in a container. So for the time being, it's not creating very nice options. But when it gets better, it'll be a real help to us. It also allows us to modify it. So, for example, this section already exists. This container already exists. I right-click on it and click on Generate Variations with AI. And then I tell it what I want. So I can say here, change it to a more minimalist layout. And then I put it in here and ask him to generate it. It will give me some options for transforming this layout into a more minimalist one. It changed nothing. It changed almost nothing. He put an image here. He generates these images himself. Okay. So apart from not understanding what we're saying, sometimes I've asked him to generate 6 houses and he's only generated 2 or 4. So as well as not understanding what we're saying, it also generates a very ugly layout for now. So for the time being, it's not worth it unless you can write a very elaborate prompt for it, very detailed. And then you can generate a prompt here that does something nice. But for now, it's better for us to go and do it. Okay? Now, there's an option here that's very promising. When it works, you're going to love it. You click here. And then there's this +1 option, which allows you to rebuild a website using another website. How does that work? You'll click here and a tab will appear so that we can add the link to a website. For example, you'll put the link to my website, Uncomplicating Sites. You'll copy it and put it here for him, and it will read my website and create a layout here in Elementor with a container with Elementor widgets based on the website, and then you can take it. Copy the person's layout and come here yourself and change it with the Elementor widgets. So this will help you a lot to take inspiration from websites, to use other websites that you found beautiful so that you can already have a base here. When it's working 100%, when the AI is right, when it understands everything we say, wow, it's going to be great. It will make our lives so much easier. That's it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, leave me a like here. Let me know what you thought of the updates in the comments. Cheers. See you next time. Bye.